Mickey?
It's Count Mickula.
Well, hello everyone! Welcome to the best genre ever, because today we're gonna take a look at the top 20 greatest movie vampires ever. So without further ado, let's get started.
That's 20 greatest movie vampires.
That's a good one, Count. Let's get started.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 movie
not
vampires.
bad enough, eh?
Because I live for it.
Sounds like a really good idea what I'm talking about.
For
Nothing's
this list,
chillin'.
we're looking at the best bloodsuckers the silver screen has to offer. So, as
And now, time for the countdown on the list.
That's technically a mini-series
Mickey
and thus
Mouse?
included. However, we're
It's
not above
Mickula.
including vampire-adjacent characters, and multiple versions of the same character are
sorry,
okay
Mickula,
as
but
long as they're distinct.
I love your
Your
name.
favorite long-toothed
Right.
ghoul. Number 20, Max Schreck, Shadow of the Vampire. We'll be getting a
Does she
little
recognize
weird with our first
Schreck
entry,
like an
detailing a
ogre?
fictionalized account into the filming of the
No,
1922
Jack,
horror movie
he's a
*Nosferatu*.
vampire.
More on that one later. Shadow of the
Oh,
Vampire
really?
shines a spotlight
Talk
on
about
creature
all of the
actor
over
Max
this
Schreck,
time.
whose uncanny presence on set
That's
leads the crew
still
to
gotta
believe he
engage
might
that.
actually be a vampire.
Is Max Schreck.
Being a vampire looks really scaring me
No
off.
doubt have heard Max's
Am I gonna be
somewhat
tough enough, Dad?
unconventional?
Yes,
I'm
but
sure you will
I'm
come to
Boris
respect
Hauntley.
his artistry in this.
And it is I,
is
the Count.
unrecognizable as Shrek, whose method acting style could even make any sane person think twice as to the existence of vampires.
So gonna love that. But am I the good bad enough? Am I?
That's a good idea to do that,
Though the film has
Mickula.
been somewhat lost to time, it still makes for
I mean,
a
you give it
fascinating
results
watch
at that.
as it blends mystical horror with the real world. Number 19, Miriam Blaylock, The Hunger. There are few characters that personify the eroticism of vampires
That's the number
quite like
19.
Miriam Blaylock.
That's for sure.
Are you making a pass at me, Mrs. Black?
That's
Mary,
eerie.
not that I'm aware of, sir.
Thousands of
The
years
way I
old,
feel it,
Miriam
that
has gone
sounds like
through
a good
plethora of vampire
fantastic
companions,
on your
only
teeth.
to eventually watch them all wither
And
away
even
into a permanent
us,
state of living
like
death.
always
After her latest
do.
partner John goes through the same process, Miriam
I'm
is
gonna
quick to
want
replace
that.
him with scientist
Still
Sarah,
well.
whose transformation doesn't go nearly as smoothly.
Sarah, what have you done to me? There's some alien strain consuming my blood.
Ooh, that strange looking thing what I'm talking
How
about.
have you done it?
Played by French actor Catherine Deneuve, Miriam is imbued with a kind of mystical sensuality with a malevolent, self-serving
Ooh,
undercurrent.
that's
That said,
one heck of a
I'm not sure we
sleigh.
could resist her charms either. Number 18, Peter Lowe, Vampire's Kiss. Is
Ooh,
this character a vampire?
number
Maybe
18?
not. but he's
Peter
too
Lowe?
richly idiosyncratic for us
That's
not to
very
include.
wonderful.
New York
Ridiculous.
yuppie Peter
Good.
Lowe gets a bloody taste of the lifestyle after a supposed one-night stand with a vampire leads to him being bitten.
That hasn't good enough of that.
Believing himself to be in the midst of becoming,
But still
Lowe plays
myth.
the part emphatically, wearing
That's
plastic vampire
fantastic.
teeth, sunglasses during the day, and prowling nightclubs for his next victim. Thanks to the completely batty performance by Nicolas Cage, Vampire's Kiss remains
still got a
darkly satirical take on the
transformation.
vampire archetype,
Isn't it
as
so
Lowe's ostensible
rad
transformation
to you?
casts him further and further
Not
into
today!
madness. 18. Clara Webb, Byzantium. Some people are just born to play vampires.
Well, still
and
got the
Gemma
longest
Arterton
time.
is one such person. In Byzantium, Arterton plays Clara, a former sex worker who, after a tragic series
Well,
of
I never
events,
heard of that movie.
saves the lives of herself and her daughter.
Well,
Eleanor
that
by
genre
crossing
is
over to
all
the other side.
about horror. But horror is like Halloween.
Insistent that it's true. I
Yup,
don't expect you
and
to be
even good ones
flattered by this,
too.
but in it she describes him
Yes,
as a
Daddy.
which I believe
I
is a
know.
vampire.
However, her formal lifestyle puts her at odds with an elder sect of vampires. And Clara's steely resolve remains one of the few things saving her and Eleanor from
Hey,
extermination.
do I recognize that? But who cares about this? Still chilling.
To tell the truth, there is a code that we survived by Eleanor. Keep it.
As this will be just
Me,
one of many vampires
if
from
I'm
Neil
gonna
Jordan movies
transform
on this
into a
list,
god,
it would
but
appear that the
who
director
cares?
just gets the classic creatures. Number 16, Mavis.
Hey,
the
that's
Hotel
Mavis
Transylvania
from the
franchise.
Hotel
Now we
Transylvania.
transition to a more family
That's a
friendly vampire.
one-looking
While there are
vampiress.
loads of classic film monsters taking up
That's a
residency at
daughter.
the titular getaway, the one that
Yup.
stands out is an original character in
that's
Mavis,
Mavis.
the daughter of
Dracula's
Count Dracula.
daughter.
Excited
Having a good monster-tacular? But this is yours. Really?
Raised to believe that humans are
Yes,
the real monsters,
Mickula.
Mavis lives a sheltered
And
life
I'm
at the
a
hotel
good
until a
upstarter
human
that
named
cookie.
Johnny stumbles through the doors.
But you
The
know,
two
played by
immediately
Selena
zing,
Gomez.
and their love
You know,
breaks down
that
barriers
girl
as they
from
even
Wizards
start
of
a family
Wizardly
in later
Place.
films.
Little Dennis is a year old now. Wow.
Ooh, still got a number
Voiced by
one.
Selena Gomez, Mavis represents the wide-eyed optimism of the incoming generation.
Mavis
and
is
serves as
so
a productive
honored.
role model to young viewers. Number 15, Severin, Near Dark. The late
Is
Bill
that
Paxton had the
Severin?
unparalleled ability to make even the smallest character
Yes,
more interesting than they were.
I know the rules.
Finger
Good old
Fortunately,
daddy.
though, he already had a
Everything
great
knows
foundation
about
to work
that.
with portraying Severin in Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark.
Uh-oh.
Multiple
That's
vagabond
one
vampires roaming the
bad
countryside in search of
vampire.
blood. Severin
And
stands out
this
as the
guts.
completely unhinged lunatic of the group.
Don't
Always
be sitting
here
on my
reflects his
feet.
confidence and
I
abilities.
told you that
While
before
Jesse,
on
the
that.
leader of the group, is similarly
Once
memorable,
again,
being played by
I'm
horror
gonna
icon
do
Lance
that.
Henriksen.
Jack, you're not a transforming into a bat. You're soaring like a flying
It's
parrot.
Severin that has us coming back to this
Okay.
cult classic. Also, best vampire
Why did you
name
vampires
ever?
like at night?
Number
As always?
14, Adam and Eve, Only Lovers Left Alive. Though it's never confirmed whether the vampires are the biblical Adam and Eve, it's possibilities such as these
Ooh.
that make Jim Jarmusch's
Adam
Only
and
Lovers
Eve.
Left Alive so thematically interpretive
Very
and
so.
enticing.
Come on, tell me, what was she like?
She was delicious.
Oh boy, they're delicious thing in my park.
Centuries old, Adam and Eve have been
I'm gonna
wildly
need to
influential
bang you.
culturally, but find
30
themselves
when
in
they
an
some
existential
Halloween
malaise as
still
they
a
spend their
spooks.
days in Detroit and Tangier, respectively.
Not yet,
Upon
Daddy.
reuniting, the
I
immortal lovers
told
go through
you
a
that is
mid-existence
on
crisis of sorts.
October 1st.
Actors Tom Hiddleston
As
and Tilda
well.
Swinton do tremendous jobs keeping audience investment against such a morose tone. For anyone fascinated by the vampire psyche,
Ooh,
this
vampires
is a must-watch.
do. Dang.
Number 13, Viago, Vladislav, and Deacon, What We Do in the Shadows. While most
I
entries
think
on
it's
this
just a
list stem
movie.
from the horror genre, What We Do in the Shadows applies the mockumentary format to the undead creatures. And the results couldn't be more hilarious.
Am I
All
gonna
vampires
go
of
movie
varying
now?
ages. Viago, Vladislav, and Deacon are roommates, but
three
instead of a castle,
vampires.
they share a flat in New Zealand.
We're not just pointing the finger at you, Deacon. You're a cool guy, but you're not pulling your weight in the flat.
Well, I'm glad to hear that I'm cool.
Is it
That's
still
not the point.
McDonald's?
Yeah,
no,
it's
I know.
not a
I know.
flat meeting of
Do I know?
As expected,
I know it's still
their
gonna
differing
call it already
personalities
now.
make for strange bedfellows, but stranger still thanks to their vampiric tendencies. Played by
You mean
Taika Waititi,
vampiric
Jermaine Clement,
girl?
and Jonathan Groff, the
Vampirina
three are easily the
is
funniest
gone
vampires we can
now.
think of, as the movie became a cult favorite and
Take 'em on the
launched an
web,
FX series of
man.
the same name, on which the characters cameoed.
Don't take offense, but you don't seem like someone who would be capable.
Ah, that's the one good series of on then. On FX.
From maybe a
Check out the series.
I believe it.
12. David, The Lost Boys. As underseen as Near Dark was, when it came to vampire movies, 1987 belonged
Number
to The Lost
12.
Boys. Upon moving to a new town, teenager Michael is integrated into a local biker
I'm
gang,
still
led by the
counting.
ever cruel and enigmatic
Well,
David.
you call this the count.
How are those maggots? Maggots, Michael.
Boy, he this
Breeding maggots have a
vampire
taste.
everything.
What?
Turns
Seriously?
out, though,
Yes!
The gang isn't cool
How do I
because they
know about
ride
that?
motorcycles, but rather because of their vampiric nature. Kiefer Sutherland is the epitome of roguish as David.
Still got it
Perfectly straddling
terrorized.
the line between danger and
Stay
comfort.
alive! One of us? Still panic.
Though David may not be as in control as he appears, his aesthetic and
Well,
outward
that's
temperament
one
have made
thing
him
gotta
iconic.
know.
And the
That's
first thing you
tragic.
think of when the 80s classic comes to mind. Number 11, Santanico Pandemonium, From Dusk Till Dawn. Here's a vampire who doesn't have a whole lot of screen time, but makes a big impression nonetheless. Just one of
Ooh,
many
really?
vampires
A
infesting a
vampire
desert
lady,
strip club,
huh?
Santanico Pandemonium,
Still got a
played
strippers
by
on
the
that.
terrific Salma Hayek, creates what has to be one of the sexiest scenes
Ew!
in all
I don't
of
want to do that. I don't want to watch this as a little kid.
Clad in an albino python and little else, Santanico delivers a striptease that's liable to make anyone hot under the collar.
Am I gonna
Granted,
be
she and the
telling
other
you?
bar employees subsequently
joke.
hulking out into terrifying vampires might kill the mood, but really that only adds to her mystique.
I have no idea. That's
Number 10,
transformation.
Lestat the Lion Court.
Interview with the vampire.
The original Neil Jordan vampire
Well,
movie.
still got the
Interview
movie
with
on
the Vampire
Netflix.
recontextualized the vampire experience for a new wave of moviegoers.
Oh goodness! Vampire incoming. As well.
Keeping up the tradition of the deceptively beautiful vampire, Lestat proves to be an appropriate yet uncommon
Still
role
gotta
for Tom
succeed.
Cruise, who emphasizes the anti in the
I
anti-hero paradigm in this
love
one.
the
He's extremely misanthropic, especially
Still believe in your
comparison to his
hearts.
newly turned
And
companion,
I'm
Luke,
gonna chill it
against whom
out.
much of the film's conflict
I
generates.
guess. You said so.
Could refuse me. Not even you.
Trying. Still
While
crying.
his portrayal here may not be as layered as his counterpart in the Anne Rice book series,
Hey,
the
where
compounding
did you
factors
go?
of his demeanor and
Am I
Cruise's
gone
star
missing
power
now?
have made Lestat an iconic movie vampire.
Seriously?
Number
Love
9, Marlowe, 30 Days of Night. For the most part, the characters on this list are
Marlowe?
fully formed people with significant development.
Ooh, that
Marlowe from
scares
30
me
Days
out of my
Night, however,
pants.
fulfills the monstrous qualities of what a vampire is classically known to be, and that's it. The leader of the pack, Marlowe and his followers descend upon an Alaskan town when it's
That's
undergoing the
one
titular polar event,
creepy
using the
vampire.
month-long cover of darkness to gorge
Still
upon the
got
townsfolk.
haunted.
While every vampire is nightmare-inducing, Marlowe is especially so. His chilling presence accentuated by his pitch-black eyes and blood-stained teeth. In a movie that's not totally on the same level, Danny Huston creates a memorable villain in a career full of them. Number 8, Jerry Dandridge, Fright Night. Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night is another example of a sexy vampire, but this time in a more hypnotically gothic kind of way. When horror-obsessed teenager Charlie Brewster correctly presumes his new neighbor Jerry is a murderous vampire, things get pretty messy pretty quickly.
Still blood! Still blood and blood! What is she doing in here? Holding a hand.
Jerry resorts to a slew of intimidation tactics to get Charlie to back off. He even goes after Charlie's girlfriend Amy because she resembles a past lover of his. You know, that old vampire thing. Still, Fright Night manages to feel wildly accessible and fresh with its approach. And a lot of that is due to the delectably dastardly performance from Chris Sarandon as Jerry.
Ooh. Still got another one, and that. Well, let's get to it when you go back.
Forget about Charlie. Forget about me. Forget about you. What do you say, Charlie?
Number 7,
Claudia.
Interview with the Vampire. As
Again,
a character
with the
as
movie,
Lestat is
about
in
that
novel
character
series,
thing.
The most dynamic character
I
in the 1994 film has to be Kirsten Dunst's Claudia.
Still
After
got
the
another
vampire
movie going
Louis
on.
inadvertently feeds on the young girl Claudia in an
Another
act of
little
starvation,
girl.
Lestat turns her to keep his companion from leaving him.
That's...
I took your life.
I don't get it.
He gave you another one.
That's 2 times for the characters from
Their
the
toxic
same movie.
relationship extends to the 3 of them as they raise Claudia as their own. 30 years pass, and Claudia's mind matures normally, but her body remains stunted as that of a
Who's
child's.
here's
This results
coming?
in some
But who's
severe
gone
psychological
now?
issues, as Claudia makes known her disdain towards him
Mickula.
for trapping her in
Or
such a
should I
prepubescent
say,
state.
Mickey Mouse.
You give her to me, Louis!
Still got a sassy girl or not. Still panicking. So horrified.
It is tragic storytelling, one rich in thematic depth. Number 6, Ellie, Let the Right One In. Hailing from Sweden, Let the Right One In is a darkly compelling
that's
story
number
of friendship
6.
and dependence.
Ellie.
Lena Leanderson plays Ellie, another young-looking vampire who soon finds herself without a caretaker.
Oh, man. Go away, mister. Still clutching. Oh.
Forced to hunt for herself, the walls start closing in on her secret. But she finds solace in befriending a 12-year-old boy named Oscar. Their affection for each other is tenderly
cares
sweet,
about
but
that?
the more they help each other with their
Still
problems,
glitching,
the
y'all.
more we quietly question the relationship between love and symbiosis. The character of Ellie is so nuanced, in fact, that her American counterpart Abby in the remake Let Me In is equally
Who's
intriguing.
torturing me now? I accept it.
I can't be your friend. Why not? It's just the way it is.
Number 5, Count Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Hey, that's
We knew
number
we'd be seeing
5.
Good old
Count
Drax somewhere
Jack.
in the top 5. And you know
Dracula.
what? We may not even be done with him after this.
That's number 5 on the list.
Dracula. And I bid you welcome, Mr. Holmes.
Soon you'll get creepy stuff.
A more faithful adaptation of Bram Stoker's original novel, this Dracula
That's what I'm
sees
telling
Gary
you.
Oldman portray the titular villain, though you might not know it based on some of his earlier interactions. Indeed, playing a decrepit version of the Count,
Well,
along with his alluring
very
youthful visage
indeed.
and Vlad the Impaler,
Look
his
how it
original
goes that
form,
I told you to
Oldman
make.
delivers a trifecta of powerhouse performances, each of them convincing and layered.
My goodness. Am I gonna meet a blood bank?
No, Count. You so silly.
While the movie on the whole wasn't quite as solid,
Hey,
you cannot
I
complain
told
with
you
a
about
villainous
the
showing
movie.
of this caliber. Number 4, Blade.
That's
the
Blade.
franchise. Who said vampires and superheroes don't mix? Before the long-running
Vampires
franchises and cinematic
and
universes of today,
superheroes?
the Blade
Does
movies
it
showed what
mix?
comic book adaptations could look like
Hey,
for the new millennium.
you know what? That's Blade. He's a vampire killer. You own you.
Is all that necessary?
And a lot of its
Still a
success stems
shame.
from its kick-ass title character. A half-vampire daywalker, Eric Brooks, aka Blade, uses his otherworldly strengths to track and exterminate his underworld brethren. And since he's played by Wesley Snipes, he does so in the most badass way possible with plenty of hilarious one-liners.
Ooh, that's bloody. Bloody, blood.
Though the quality of the trilogy fluctuated, the one constant was Blade himself, making any adventure of his eminently watchable.
Hey!
Number 3, Count Dracula.
Hey, it's Count
the Hammer
Dracula.
Dracula franchise. Obviously,
That's
there's
definitely
something about the
Count
character
Dracula.
of Dracula that has
Yes,
some of a
but
recurring
it's
time
on
and
number
time again.
3. We're
But
gonna
don't
wait
let
till
that
the
detract
end
from
of the number
slew of
1 on the
fabulous
list.
performances we've gotten
But
courtesy
still
of him.
maybe.
And Christopher Lee's is no exception.
Hey, that's
With
a
Lee
totally
starring
car.
in a whopping 7 films as the Prince of Darkness, his version
That's
is familiar,
7.
yet
7
strikingly terrifying.
films.
Unafraid to bring the intensity and savagery that comes with being an undead beast.
yourself, Count.
While the later sequels never entirely lived up to
still
the first,
froze.
it cannot be denied that this version of Dracula ushered in a new era of monster movies,
shot at
and
me.
by and large made the villain scary again. Number 2, Count Orlok, Nosferatu.
Count
Don't let
Orlok?
the title fool you. This is the Dracula story through and through.
Somebody's gonna
However,
creep
excellent
me
creature
out of
design
mine.
and chilling theatrics put it in a
That's
league
chillin'!
And thrilling. Got the classic Nosferatu.
Played by Max Schreck. Remember him? Count Orlok is apt
Hey,
to give you nightmares roughly
Max
a
Schreck.
century since his debut. But with his elongated features and deadened facial expression.
Huh?
Not
Still got a
only that,
dad.
But Orlok
Wanna be
is a
surprised?
master in the art of tension, making big impacts with subtle gestures, whether he be staring at you through a window
That's a
or
one horror
having
on
his
the time.
shadow creep up a staircase. If the silent
Should I
treatment
go
is
now?
a hindrance for you,
Oh,
however,
no.
Klaus Kinski's talkie portrayal in Nosferatu
Wait
the Vampire
a second.
will similarly give you goosebumps.
Well, giving me the goosebumps of that.
Coffins
But
filled
still
with
got the book.
decomposed soil of
Not necessary,
Before we
Drac.
continue, be sure to subscribe to our
We're
channel
going to do
and
the
ring
last
the bell to
film.
get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into
Show
the
me.
settings and switch on notifications. Number 1,
Edward Cullen.
The
The Twilight Saga.
Just kidding. We're sure Sparklepus here is on some other best
Hey,
vampire lists, but
That's
not this
number
one.
1.
Number 1,
Count Dracula from the Dracula.
After all these years, this version
Well,
of
that's
Dracula
not
is
dead.
still what people think of when they think
That's
of the
even
quintessential
21
vampire, and for
vampires?
good reason. Whether
Well,
the
you
movies
gotta
are still
need a
horror
scratch
classic,
off.
a lot of that rides on the indomitable performance from Bela Lugosi as the
I
opponent's
think I need to get a hurry.
Dracula.
Tough for you, Mickula.
He's suave,
But I'm gonna
seductive,
blood that
confident,
stuff.
and yet
Blood.
utterly unsettling, confirming our fears when he begins enacting his
Wait.
dastardly deeds against the protagonists. While this Dracula
Wait.
wouldn't exist without the original novel, or even arguably the first Nosferatu,
What
Lugosi
is
and company
wrong with
certainly
you?
ensured that the vampire
Shorty.
archetype would persist for generations to come.
What in the world? Whoops.
Do you agree with our picks?
Well, that's all for the Vampire Edition of the best genre ever.
See you real soon.
Thanks for watching.